about the last couple of games, how you matched up with Spring Harbor tonight.
Welcome, folks, to another exciting broadcast of Cougar Soccer. We're going to send it now down to the court where Ben Noble is with Coach.
All right, Coach. Obviously, a tough stretch. You lost 3 in a row to some 3 really good teams. How do you keep focused after 3 tough matches like that?
We got to keep focused. We're very young, so it's going to happen a lot. We're up and down. I think we're getting better every single game. We just got to be patient and be able to finish. Today it's a great opportunity again for us to get a team, and we're in a home court, and they haven't been doing so well, so we got to take advantage of that. But I think the girls understand that, those are all opportunities, and we have to grab them, and I think they know that, and hopefully tonight we do grab the win.
How do you think your team matches up against Spring Harbor tonight?
They have a lot of returners. They don't play a lot of the freshmen. They're a very feisty team. They like to win. There's like we're rivals almost. The girls think that. They have a lot of experience. I think they're not as big as some of the teams we've seen, but they will fight through it. And I'm sure they want to win right now.
Thank you, Coach.
That was Ben Noble with Coach Fabiana Shields. She's in her second season with the University of St. Francis. Cougars currently on a 3-game slide, looking to end that today against Spring Arbor University. This is a Crossroads League matchup. So welcome again, everybody, to the Hutzel Athletic Complex. Cougars, we talked about it, a 3-game slide heading into this match. St. Francis opened up conference play at Huntington. That was September the 5th, winning that matchup in 4, 27-25, 25-20, 16-25, 25-23. Cougars then went on to lose 3 in a row last Friday against Taylor, the number 17th ranked team in the country. St. Francis lost in 5. At one point, we were up 2-1. The next day, the ladies had to travel to Mount Vernon, Ohio to take on Mount Vernon Naz. Lost that one in 3 straight. That was a pretty tough road trip for St. Francis, as the Taylor match just the night before really didn't get over until about 9:30, and the ladies did not get out of the gym probably until about 10:30 to wake up the next morning and travel all the way to Ohio. Last Wednesday against Marion, another tough match. St. Francis losing in 5, 22-25, 21-25. So at that point, St. Francis down 2-0. Came back and won 25-21, 27-25 to go ahead and lose the 5th and final set, 9-5. Cougars with a 4-8 overall record, 1-3 in conference play, taking on a Michigan Cougar team that's 1-13 on the season, 0-4 in the Crossroads League. Spring Arbor has lost 9 straight matches. Some words from SID Bill Scott. When you come to the Hutzel Athletic Complex, Bill's always got some great game day programs for all the fans. Today is a conference clash. USF on the prowl for its first win at the Hutzel Athletic Complex to end a 3-game skid. Spring Arbor on the hunt for its first win on the road in the conference collision. Tonight, it's the University of St. Francis in a favorite role when Spring Arbor University invades the Hutzel Athletic Center for a Crossroads League clash. The USF Lady Cougars are looking for the finishing touch against the SAU Cougars. USF has dropped 3 consecutive matches, but 2 have gone to 5 sets. USF rallied from a 2-0 deficit to win 25-21 and 27-25 to force a 5th set on Wednesday night at the HAC. But Marion University prevailed 15-9 in the 5th. SAU enters play tonight looking for its first CL win, the Crossroads League, of the season and its fifth conference match of the season. The Cougars are 1-13 overall, 1-11 away from home, and have lost 9 consecutive matches. Goshen down SAU on Wednesday night in 5 sets at Spring Arbor, 25-20, 21-25, 22-25, 25-21, and 15-11. SAU's lone win came on a neutral court, and it was a 3-2 decision against IU South Bend. That was back on August 25th. Cougar freshman Sarah Clark is number 8 for USF in the Crossroads League hitting percentage at .271, and sophomore Justine Kaiser, number 19, with a .164 hitting percentage. Carrie Clark and twin sister Sarah ranked number 16 and number 17 in the Crossroads League in total kills with 90 and 88 respectively. USF sophomore Lindsey Weiss is number 10 in assists per game at 4.9, and freshman Haley Ream is number 12 at 3.1 assists per game. Ashley Morris is SAU's leading attacker and is number 6 in the Crossroads League in total kills with 120. Samantha Huber is tied at 14 with 92. Some big hitters for SAU, Ashley Morris and Samantha Huber. St. Francis next 2 matches will be on the road tomorrow in Grand Rapids, Michigan to take on Davenport Judson. Then next Wednesday in Mishawaka, Indiana, another conference matchup against Bethel. Next Friday, Indiana Wesleyan comes to the Hutzel Athletic Center. Folks, we will not have that broadcast for you. We will actually be doing the men's soccer match against Indiana Wesleyan that night, so we do apologize. Just trying to keep things even and as fair as possible. We're right around 7 broadcasts for women's soccer, men's soccer, and volleyball. Looking at the national rankings, Texas at Brownsville, the number 1 ranked team in the country, 7-0 record. They've got 653 total points. Concordia out of California, they're receiving 1 vote for the number 1 spot. They've got 632 total points, a 12-0 record. Columbia out of Missouri is number 3. Biola out of California is number 4. And Lee out of Tennessee is number 6. Indiana Wesleyans currently ranked number 11 in the country with a 9-1 record. And Taylor University drops 1 spot to number 18 in this week's national rankings. Grace College out of Indiana, the Crossroads League, they're receiving votes. They're currently at 27th with a 27th ranking. They've got 94 total points. So the Cougars with a 4-8 record have already matched their win total from a year ago. Fabiana Shields in her first season, 4-19 overall, 2-6 in MCC play, the Mid-Central College Conference, which is now known as the Crossroads League. 1 minute and 45 seconds on the clock until we get to the national anthem and starting lineups for tonight's match. Folks, so our next broadcast will be next Friday. Indiana Wesleyan taking on our men's soccer team. That's over at Bishop Darcy Stadium. The following day, next Sunday, September 22nd, the first ever night football game at Bishop Darcy Stadium. So under the lights, that'll be an exciting one. We're going to send it now down to the court.
Now, please rise and remove your hats for the sake of the national
have it, your starting lineups for tonight's matchup. Spring Arbor once again with a 1-13 overall record. Your University of St. Francis Cougars 4-8. Remember last year the Cougars with a 4-19 overall record. So Fabiana Shields in her second season already, matching last year's total win total. Out on the court, your starting six for St. Francis, we have Carrie Clark, Danielle Hartman, Sarah Clark, Haley Slusher, Lindsay Weiss, and Haley Ream. Ream, a freshman middle. She can also work as a setter. When Weiss is on the court, Weiss will take over the setting duties. On the floor for Spring Arbor, we have number 4, Katie Johnson, up front, along with number 14, Casey Hersha. Number 3, that's Tennille Merrow-Ellie. Number 8 is Ashley Morris. Number 7, Alyssa Fries. And the closest Cougar to us is number 2, Gabby Corwin, the junior from Traverse City, Michigan. And it looks like to start this match, Lindsay Weiss will do the honors for St. Francis. So we're in the first set here, 0-0. Weiss from Caledonia, Michigan, Caledonia High School. She's a 5'7" junior. She's a setter for the Cougars. Looking for the first point of the match. It's up and into the net. Take it out sooner. So SAU's up, 1-0. Weiss setting up behind her. That was set up for number 8, Carrie Clark. That shot's out of bounds. Cougars tied up 1-1 here. Into the match for St. Francis is number 7, Justine Kaiser. And back to serve it is number 8, Carrie Clark, the 6-foot freshman from Valparaiso. With the jump serve, picked up and set for number 14. That was Casey Hersha. Her shot goes into the net. She was looking to place one easily, and it did not make it over. So back with the serve once again is Carrie Clark. Clark lets it fly, and it goes out of bounds in the direction of Betsy Granger, number 13. She's a junior from Diamonddale, Michigan. Now to serve it is Lindsay Murray, the libero for Spring Arbor. Picked up by Sarah Clark. Lindsay Weiss sets it over Justine Kaiser. Kaiser, that's in for another point. We're tied up at 2. Excuse me, Cougars up now 3-2. Back to serve it is the libero for St. Francis, number 3, Rachel Weaver, a freshman from Carroll High School here in Fort Wayne. Sets made by number 3, Merrow-Ellie. Big spike there for the Blue Cougars. It's Ashley Morris, the senior. Back to set it up. We're tied at 3. Morris with the big serve. Picked up by number 8 for St. Francis. That's Carrie Clark. Justine Kaiser with the big hit. Picked up by number 8, Ashley Morris for SAU. That shot from number 6, Samantha Huber, out of bounds. St. Francis back with the 1-point lead. Haley Ream now to serve it up for St. Francis, the freshman. Haley is from Rockford, Ohio. She went to Parkway High School. Picked up by number 13, Betsy Granger. Hitting it from the back row is number 8, Ashley Morris. Diving attempt there by Jessica Aerosmith. Gets away from her. We're back to being tied at 4. So number 3 now, Merrow-Ellie with the serve. She's a junior from Adrian, Michigan, 5'9". Picked up by Kaiser. Haley Ream setting it up in the middle for Carrie Clark. Big time point there, by Sarah Clark. Danielle Hartman back into the match. Sarah wears the number 10. Carrie wears the number 8. They are twins. Danielle Hartman back with the serve. Hartman lets her fly. Set up for number 6. Picked up by Carrie Clark. Carrie Clark with the big hit now. Sent over to Rachel Weaver. SAU cannot get to that one. St. Francis extends its lead now, 6-4. Hartman with the serve. Front line for SAU is number 4, Katie Johnson, along with number 7, Alyssa Fries. Ball goes over to Fries, set in the middle, picked up by Rachel Weaver. Haley Ream now sets it up behind her for Jessica Aerosmith. That shot's long by about 6 feet. Cougars pull within 1. And of course, this is the clash of the Cougars. So you got the Michigan Cougars against your University of St. Francis, Indiana Cougars. With the serve is Alyssa Fries. Picked up by Weaver. Front line is Ream, who sets it up for, that was Sarah Clark. Danielle Hartman, Ream, once again, this time it's Carey. Shots blocked at the net. SAU, that set was behind number 4, Katie Johnson, who gets it sent over. We got a double hit being called here. We're tied at 6. With the serve is Fries. She's from Omro, Michigan, Valley Christian High School. Middle hitter at 6 foot. In the middle, that's Sarah Clark with a big hit, picked up by number 3, Mero Ellie. This time Ream sets it up for Jessica Aerosmith. Aerosmith's shot is tipped at the net and knocked out of bounds. St. Francis takes the 1-point advantage, 7-6. Nice shot there by Jessica Aerosmith. Back with the serve is Sarah Clark. Clark sending it over, set up to the front line. Big hit by number 4, and it just sneaks into the line there. That was Katie Johnson, the sophomore outside, 5 foot 10 inch from maybe Michigan. We're back to being tied. With the serve is number 2, Gabby Corwin. Rachel Weaver picks it up. The set from Ream over to Carrie Clark. Out of bounds, point, St. Francis. Lindsay Weiss back with the serve now for St. Francis. Rachel Weaver back there with her. Up front, you have Carrie Clark, and that's Haley Slusher in the middle, throwing it down. She's good at it. Cougars taking a 2-point advantage. Lindsay Weiss now with the serve. Set up for SAU. Big hit coming up and a huge block by Haley Slusher. That was number 4, Katie Johnson with a hit. Beautiful dig by Danielle Hartman. Set far side, another partial block there by Haley Slusher. This time it's set up for Carrie Clark. Blocked. Danielle Hartman's there to pick it up. Rachel Weaver. And Carrie Clark just sends it over. This time it's number 14, picked up by Rachel Weaver. Lindsay Weiss setting it back up for Weaver. Sends it over. SAU is going to have to do the same. Lindsay Weiss setting it up for Haley Slusher, and a big-time kill. St. Francis extends their lead 10-7 here in the first set. Lindsay Weiss now with the serve. Picked up by number 7, Fries, and a big shot there by number 8. And it is out. Number 8 is Ashley Morris. Point, St. Francis. 4-point advantage for the Indiana Cougars. Our largest lead of the match. With the service, Lindsay Weiss. Picked up in the back row and set up for number 4. We have I believe, a double hit being called. Point St. Francis, 12-7. We have a Timeout on the court, called by SAU coach Carol Gates. She's in her 9th season. Coach Fabiana Shields and assistant coach Alex Balvet also there with Coach Shields. 12-7 is your score. We're in the first set here. St. Francis looking to put this one away in 3. Get home so the young ladies can get back on the road tomorrow. They're going to Grand Rapids, Michigan to take on Davenport. /Judson, so I don't know if together they field a team. I'm assuming that is the case. Lindsay Weiss with the serve. Set behind her to number 4, that is Katie Johnson. SAU with the point, pull within 4. Back with the serve for SAU is number 13, Betsy Granger. Granger picked up by Danielle Hartman. Lindsay Weiss far side over to Haley Ream. Ream with the touch drops in there for a point. 13-8, St. Francis on a roll. Justine Kaiser into the match for Danielle Hartman. She'll play up front with Haley Slusher and Haley Ream. Lindsay Weiss back to set it. And with the serve is Carrie Clark, number 8 from Valparaiso, Indiana. Carrie with the jump serve. Picked up and set by number 3, Gabby Corwin. That was Lindsay Weiss picking it up. Hit behind to Justine Kaiser. Her shot's out of bounds. Point SAU. 13-9 is your score here in the set number 1. With the service, the libero, number 10, Lindsay Murray. Rachel Weaver's got it up to Lindsay Weiss. Weiss over to Haley Ream. Weaver could not dig that ball. 13-10 your score now. Murray with the serve, a sophomore at 5'4" from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Cougars will be traveling to Grand Rapids tomorrow. Always tough to play these late matches on Friday night, then have to travel into Michigan, probably about a 4-hour drive there to Grand Rapids. That's Rachel Weaver with the serve. Set up to number 7. That was Freeze. Weaver sent it back over. Freeze once again with the big hit, picked up by Weiss. Ream's going to set it in the middle for Sarah Clark. Throwing it down big time. Point St. Francis. Score is now 15-10. Weaver once again with the serve. Picked up by the libero. That's Murray. Murray's going to hit it over. Carrie Clark got that one. Justine Kaiser. Maybe the liveliest arm here on the court. It was that way a week ago when Taylor came into the Hutzel Athletic Complex. We've got a 6-point lead for St. Francis. Rachel Weaver with the serve. Gets all the way into the body of number 10, Lindsay Murray. Kind of ate her up a bit. St. Francis with a 7-point advantage. Weaver again with the serve. That one's hit over. Sarah Clark picks it up with the touch. Cougars, 8-point advantage. Rachel Weaver again with the serve. Rachel is outside in a DS. Libera, 5'7", freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, Carroll High School. Just a bit long. Number 8, Ashley Morris with the serve. Picked up by Carrie Clark. Haley Ream sets it over for Kaiser. Big time hit, saved by Murray, the libero. The big time block by Sarah Clark, sending it back over to the SAU Cougars. Carrie with a Sarah with another block and another block. That's her third consecutive. Rachel Weaver picks this one up just a little bit long. Haley Ream tried to dig it out of the net. Point SAU. Scores 18-12. Sarah Clark, Lindsay Weiss closest to us. Haley Ream on the far side, front line. That serve was by number 8, Ashley Morris. Hit out of bounds. St. Francis up by 5 in set number 1. Morris with the serve. Big time serve picked up by Rachel Weaver right up to Lindsay Weiss. Weiss with a nice set over to Sarah Clark. Clark right into the net. Excuse me, that was Carrie Clark, number 8. Morris once again with the serve. The score is 18-14. Big hit by Sarah Clark. That time a block attempt by Ream and Sarah Clark knocked Ream to the ground as SAU pulls to within 3. Timeout, Fabiana Shields. Back to the action, 18-15, St. Francis on top. And with the serve, it's Ashley Morris, senior outside from Clarksville, Michigan. She went to Lakewood High School. She stands 5 feet, 9 inches. Ashley Morris. Bam, picked up by Rachel Weaver, up to Lindsay Weiss. Weiss is gonna set it over to Justine Kaiser. Kaiser kindly knocks it over with the point. Cougars back to a 4-point advantage. Jessica Aerosmith into the match for Lindsay Weiss. Aerosmith along with Carrie Clark, Sarah Clark, and Justine Kaiser making up the front line for St. Francis. Aerosmith was over in that direction, put a little bit of a scare into Samantha Huber. Huber, a freshman middle hitter, 5'10". She is from Connersville, Indiana. So we have another point. It's 20-15. St. Francis with the serve. That was Haley Ream. That shot was hit right into the net by Huber. And once again, it's Sarah Clark, Carrie Clark, Aerosmith, and Kaiser at the net for St. Francis. Ream with another serve. 21-15 is your score. This time it went behind to number 7, Freeze. Once again, into the net. We have another timeout call. This one was by Carol Gates in her ninth season with SAU. Same lineup on the court for St. Francis coming out of the break. The score is 22-15. Your Cougars on top. This is a Cougar clash. SAU, the Michigan Cougars, St. Francis, Indiana Cougars. Ream now with the serve. Right in front of her is Rachel Weaver, the libero. Big serve. Gets it over to number 6, Huber. That time Sarah Clark had gently just set it up for Carrie Clark. Big hit picked up by Ream. Sarah digs it out. And we got a double hit being called. She did not like that call at all. Ref, what to do? With the serve now for SAU is number 3, Miro Ellie, the junior. DS. Nice set in a big-time spot there, or shot by Sarah Clark. Carrie Clark picks that one up. Jessica Aerosmith brings it back onto the court. Kaiser sends it over. Rachel Weaver picks it up. Ream setting it up for Kaiser again. Partially blocked at the net by Freeze. Point St. Francis, 23-16. Cougars smelling blood. Danielle Hartman with the serve into the match for number 7, Justine Kaiser. Hartman with the big serve. And this time it's set up for number 4, Johnson. On the other end, nice set by Jessica Aerosmith over to Carrie Clark. And point, Cougars. Set point coming up after the double hit. Danielle Hartman with the serve. That's Freeze. Out of bounds. St. Francis takes set number 1, 25-16. So unbelievable way to start this match for St. Francis. Pulling ahead early. I think at one stretch there in the middle of that set, Ben, we may have got about 7 out of 8 points there and had about a 5-point cushion. Sounds about right. We're shorthanded up here in the booth, so we don't have the best in-game stats for you. Ben is doing the interviewing and working the camera today. I'm on the scoreboard and kind of doing everything else. Normally we'd have about one other up here in an ideal situation. One to handle the scoreboard and the live capture and the stream. The other on the camera. This is our second year of streaming games here at St. Francis. This is also my second year. My name is Jeff Mahoney, Director of Sports Broadcasting, Assistant Sports Information Director, and I'm also the football video coordinator. I handle all of our huddle operations here at St. Francis. So just about every single one of our teams uses huddle. Men's basketball, our volleyball team, men's and women's soccer, football, baseball, softball. It's a great way of sharing our video with our athletes. All we have to do is upload a game and then share it with your roster. So you can share just about any specific play or entire whole game with your athlete with a quick share. So that's on Huddle. And you can really break it down, folks. You can break it down by set, by point. You can break it down by kills, assists, digs, errors, you name it. You can do it on Huddle. They really are doing a great job. I believe Huddle was established in 2006 during Bill Callahan's last year at the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers. And then Callahan was released from Nebraska after that year and took Huddle with him to the New York Jets. And it has since really just taken over. Our whole football conference uses Huddle. And let me tell you, when we're doing game exchange with other teams in our conference, it literally saves me about 20 hours a week. We exchange it and it's all cut up in offense, defense, kicking game. So a beautiful tool. We'd like to thank the owners, creators, CEOs, and they are actually in the Forbes top 30 under 30. We would like to thank them for a wonderful product. With the serve there was Gabby Corwin. Point, St. Francis. We are in set number 2. Your Cougars, Carrie Clark with the serve. Big jump serve. with the set. That's number 3, Merrill Ellie, picked up by Carrie Clark. Justine Kaiser, that was behind her a little bit. She almost was falling into the bleachers. We're tied at 1. Not an ideal play there for Justine Kaiser, but she did what she could to nearly make that happen. Serve now is by number 13, Betsy Granger. Out of bounds. St. Francis back with a 1-point advantage. Score is 2-1. Rachel Weaver with the serve now for St. Francis. Looks like we might have a little bit of a running jump serve here. Never did quite understand that, which is better. Some just stay put, some run and jump it. Hit out of bounds, St. Francis with another point. Rachel, she likes to run and get that forward momentum going before she knocks it down. Big time. Did she catch the line? Did not. So the Yellow Cougars pull within 1, scores 3-2. That's Freeze who enters the match for SAU with the serve as their libero, Murray. Lindsay Weiss over to Sarah Clark. Now a block by Sarah Clark and Haley Ream. 4-2. Haley Ream with the serve. Now you see Ream, she just politely kind of walks up to the line and serves it over. Nice pickup by Sarah Clark. Served by, or set up by Carrie Clark, but it was a double hit called. 4-3, hometown Cougars on top. We are in the second set. St. Francis winning set number 1, 25-16. Put a smile on Coach Fabiana Shields' face. That's number 8, Ashley Morris. And that's just a bit too long there for Morris. Cougars up 5-3. The serve for St. Francis is Danielle Hartman. Danielle's going to work her way to the middle of the court. Knocks it over. Picked up by Murray. Set up for number 5, and that's out of bounds. Point St. Francis. Emily Verhey, the freshman, just a bit wide. So Danielle Hartman with the serve. Freeze hits it into the net. Point Cougars. 7-3, a 4-point advantage for your hometown Cougars. Hartman once again with the serve. Murray, this time in the back line. Big time hit picked up by Rachel Weaver. Ream looking to set it up for Sarah Clark. Gets behind her a little bit. Freeze with the big shot. Weaver could not get to that ball. Point SAU. Serves by number 3. And boy, that was a real light serve. Sarah Clark came up for the kills, blocked. Carrie Clark from midcourt. Nice placement there by number 4, Katie Johnson. Point SAU. Folks, Spring Arbor actually has less athletes on their roster than St. Francis, so that's nothing. That's something that your hometown Cougars are not used to. As Ream gets it over to Rachel Weaver. Weaver with a beautiful shot. Nice placement. Nobody around in that area. Cougars up 8-5. She's got court vision, folks. There's no doubt about that one. Rachel Weaver. Sarah Clark putting a hurting on that ball before the serve comes up. Good set for Freeze. Behind her, double hit called. Point Cougars. Folks, every broadcast, the volleyball terminology is picking up over here. Sarah Clark with the serve. freshman from Valparaiso. Set up for Freeze right in the middle, and she squeaks it in. Pull within 3, the Yellow Cougars. Freeze with the serve now, as Murray heads to the bench. On the court, Ashley Morris in the back line there. Carrie Clark a little bit strong on that one, sends it over. Block. Jessica Aerosmith was there, point St. Francis. Lindsay Weiss into the match now to serve it up for your Cougars. Murray back into the match for SAU, the libero wearing the yellow jersey. Rachel Weaver, the libero on the other end with the white jersey. Set by Merrill Ellie and a big hit for number 5 for Haig. Carrie Clark with the placement, picked up by Merrill Ellie. Verhaeg sends it over. Weiss. Nobody was there. I think that Carrie Clark was expecting it to come to her on the far end of the court. 10-7's your score. Weiss kind of just set that one straight up in the air. You even saw her say, my bad, after that one. Gabby Corwin, picked up by Danielle Hartman, and a nice set for Ream. Ream races over to the other end to get in position for a block. Just squeaks in between her and Haley Slusher. Point SAU. Corwin once again with the serve. She's a junior DS, 5'4". Hartman up to Weiss. Setting up for Slusher. Slusher really wound up for that one. Hello! And that was a big time hit by Ashley Morris. Point SAU. Within 1 now. Set from Weiss up to Slusher. Big time block. Carrie Clark sends it over and out of bounds. That block was by number 14, Casey Hersha, a 6-foot outside. Timeout. Coach Fabiana Shields in her second season. We're all knotted up at 10. Gabby Corwin with the serve. Tied up at 10 here in set number 2. Cougars up 1-0. Rachel Weaver, Ream sets it over. Corwin. Marelli with a nice set over to number 14, Hersha. SAU, boy, this is the first time SAU's had a lead in a while. What do you say, Ben? Maybe since the early first set? Yep. I think so. Danielle Hartman digs it up. Weiss with the set and a big time hit by number 8, Carrie Clark. We're back to being tied. 11's on the scoreboard here in set number 2. Carrie Clark with the serve. Picked up by Murray. Yellow. I'm not sure what that was from Hersha, but it worked. 12-11, SAU back on top. Betsy Granger now at the serve. Rachel Weaver, Lindsay Weiss, far side. Yellow, Justine Kaiser, she's got a heavy arm. Number 3, Merrill Ellie was in the area, I believe along with Hersha. They could not control that big-time shot by Kaiser. We're back to being tied. Rachel Weaver with the serve. Jumping in front of that one was number 2, Corwin. Kaiser and Sarah Clark looking for the block there. Point SAU on top, 13-12. Murray over to Carrie Clark. Justine Kaiser setting up. Out of bounds by about 3 feet. SAU getting pretty amped here. They're going on a little bit of a run. 2-point advantage, Yellow Cougars. Fabiana Shields does not want to lose this set. I'm sure with the long road trip ahead, she'd like to get 3 and out. Nice shot there by Ashley Morris. Looked like she kind of crowded that ball with her fingertips and threw it over. Needless to say, it was very effective. Point SAU Cougars. Murray with the serve. Rachel Weaver in the back row up to Lindsay Weiss. Weiss outside to Justine Kaiser. Now Merrill Ellie setting it up for Ashley Morris. Ashley Morris, job well done. 16-12. SAU on top. Fabiana Shields with some words for her young ladies. Murray setting it over. Kaiser, Lindsay Weiss behind her. Sarah Clark getting her done. Cougars pull within 3. Jessica Aerosmith into the match for Lindsay Weiss. Haley Ream with the serve. That was picked up by Corwin. Merrill Ellie to Murray. Rachel Weaver from the back line to Ream. Ream sets it up for Sarah Clark. Blocked by Freeze. SAU extends their lead to 4. With the serve is Ashley Morris, number 8. Boom. Rachel Weaver, Haley Ream right behind her, and I believe we have a double hit coming up. Point SAU, 5-point cushion now for Spring Arbor. Haley Ream to Kaiser. Kaiser with the beautiful placement. Attempt there by number 13, Betsy Granger. She's a little bit too late. St. Francis pulls within 4. Danielle Hartman now into the match. Justine Kaiser heads for a breather. Hartman with the serve. Murray picks it up. Merrill Ellie with a quick set over there to Freeze. Nice play by Spring Arbor. 19-15, Yellow Cougars. That was Merrill Ellie sending it over. Ream setting it up for Sarah Clark. Another. Nope, that's not a double hit. That was a 7. That's what the ref said, 7. I'm not sure what that means. That's one thing I got to pick up, Ben. Have to write that one down. Sarah Clark now, jump serve. Freeze with the big hit, out of bounds. Point Cougars, home within 3. Sarah Clark with the serve. Carrie Clark, Haley Slusher, Jessica Aerosmith at the net for the Cougars. Haley Ream, Danielle Hartman right behind. Nice set by Merrill Ellie. Merrill Ellie once again bringing it back into play. Big hit by number 5, and she hit it where the Cougars were not. That was Emily Verhaeg. Point SAU. Freeze with the serve. Hartman, Rachel Weaver doing what she has to do to keep that ball in play. And a nice play at the net by Carrie Clark. Point St. Francis. Hole within 3. Jessica Aerosmith heads to the bench. Lindsay Weiss back in to serve it up for St. Francis. Score is 20-17. Weiss over to Murray. Merrill Ellie setting it up for, I believe that was for Haig, and wow, what a dive there by Weiss, giving up the body on that one. And it was a great call because St. Francis gets the point and pulls within 2. Lindsey Weiss giving up the body there. Now to serve it for St. Francis. Picked up by Murray. Mero Ellie over to number 5 for Haig. A nice dig by Weiss. Haley Slusher's going to send it over. Murray, nobody in that direction. Point, St. Francis now within 1. A great comeback here by your Cougars. Down by 5 points one time ago in this set. Well, folks, you have to forgive me. It's been a long day. Woke up at 4:45. We had a 6 a.m. football practice today. Actually rained on us, Ben, under the lights. But it was a good time. We mic'd up offensive coordinator Pat Donnelly. So we'll put together about a 3-4 minute segment for our weekly USF football show, which plays on Fox here in Fort Wayne. And we also have it online on our Facebook fan page, Cougar Athletics, and also our USF football page. Ben, have you seen the show yet? Have you seen it yet? The show? Oh, yeah, it's a good show. You'll have to check it out. We've already got 4. Next week will be week number 5. Lindsey Weiss, once again, with the serve. Cougars up by 1. Picked up by Murray. Murray feeding it to the front line. And that was blocked by Haley Ream, the freshman from Ohio. Lindsey Weiss behind her to Ream, just a bit long. SAU with a 2-point advantage. And into the match for the Yellow Cougars is Gabby Corwin, Traverse City, Michigan. Traverse City. I believe that's a big touristy area. Corwin with the serve, Rachel Weaver. Whoa, that one got away with her. Away from her, excuse me. 22-19. Timeout. That is the second timeout by Fabiana Shields. Shields going to pull Ream off to the side there. She's got some special instructions for the freshman. And taking over in the huddle there is the assistant coach, Alex Wildbell. Excuse me. I'm all over the place today. Score is 22-19. SAU's on top. Fabiana would really like to just come back here. I don't know, maybe 6 consecutive points, call it a set, be up 2-0. Ben agrees. And Ben spends a lot of time around athletics, so he knows what he's talking about. Corwin with the serve. She's been doing a good job over there for SAU. Danielle Hartman. Lindsey Weiss sets it up behind her for Carrie Clark. And I thought we had a point coming up there. As number 8 sends it over, and Weiss does the exact same. Mero Ellie was there. Number 8, once again, beautiful placement and a nice dig there by Sarah Clark. Point, St. Francis. Good job, Sarah. 22-20. Carrie with the serve. Oh shoot, was that Carrie Clark on that last one? Seeing as how Sarah's on the sideline right now. Carrie with the serve. Out of bounds. That hit by Katie Johnson brings St. Francis another point, and we pull within 1. Carrie Clark with the serve at the front line for St. Francis. Kaiser, Ream, and Slusher. Murray picked that one up. Boom, a big time hit by Ash Lee Morris. That's enough to get SAU charged up. 23-21, just 2 points away from winning set number 2 here is SAU. Cougars really looking to pull off 4 in a row. Let's do it. Rachel Weaver up to Lindsey Weiss. A nice set behind her. Double hit going to be called. Set point for SAU. So we are about 45 minutes into this match. Weiss, far side to Justine Kaiser. And a beautiful placement shot there by Kaiser. Brings St. Francis within 2. And with the serve is Rachel Weaver, your libero, St. Francis. Oh, Gabby Corwin got some love from the net there. Murray dug that one out. Another nice pickup by Carrie Clark. Justine Kaiser, big hit. Picked up by Corwin in the back row there. And a beautiful block by Sarah Clark. Ball still in play. Lindsay Weiss over to Sarah. Sarah with the touch. Justine Kaiser digs it. Now it's set up for Kaiser. Good placement. Murray's there. Merrill Ellie setting it up far side. A big time block by Ream and Sarah Clark. That one's into the net. Point St. Francis. We are 1 point away from being tied up here, Ben. It's good, good stuff. Rachel Weaver, once again. Momentum, St. Francis's way. Timeout by SAU coach Carol Gates. Other matches going on tonight around the Crossroads League. Mount Vernon's at Indiana Wesleyan. Look for the Wildcats to win that matchup. Bethel's over at Grace. Got to give the advantage to Grace there. Huntington at Goshen. We'll give the advantage to Goshen. 5-8 overall record. Huntington 0-8. Taylor at Marion. Ooh, that's a good one, folks. 9-2 Taylor. Marion 6-3. With the serve is Rachel Weaver. We're looking to tie this thing up. Cougars down by 1. Rachel lets her fly. Corwin picks it up. Merrill Ellie with the set. Lindsay Weiss. Haley Ream. Far side of Justine Kaiser, who wound up. Big time shot there by Kaiser. We're tied at 24. Justine Kaiser, along with Haley Ream and Sarah Clark at the net for St. Francis. Rachel Weaver lets it go. Murray picks it up. Merrill Ellie sets it. Justine Kaiser over to Weiss. Weiss over to Carrie Clark. Big step by number 8. It's long. Point St. Francis. Set point for the Cougars. What a great comeback here. SAU had a 5-point advantage just moments ago. They could have closed it out with set point for about, 3 or 4 points. Rachel Weaver with the serve. Merrill Ellie, that's at the net, and out of bounds. We're back to being tied. Nice play there by Casey Hersha from Concord, Michigan. She's a 6-footer. Freeze is going to enter the match for Spring Arbor. With the serve is Murray. Back there is Carrie Clark, Rachel Weaver. Rachel Weaver comes up with it. Weiss over to Sarah Clark. Oh no. Point into the net, I believe. Yes, it was by SAU. Cougars with a 1-point advantage. Set point for St. Francis. Jessica Aerosmith to enter this match for Lindsay Weiss. Haley Ream back with the serve. Right in front of her is Rachel Weaver. At the net is Sarah Clark and Jessica Aerosmith. Has some strategic planning there. Free sends it over. Rachel Weaver over to Ream. And a double hit coming up. So Cougars with some struggles here early on with setting the ball up. We've had a number of double hits called. I'd almost go so far as to say maybe 12 of them. So that's 12 points given to SAU. With the serve there by number 8, Ashley Morris. And a point to SAU. Now they've got the set point. 27-26. Weiss back into this match. Jessica Aerosmith heads to the sideline. Weiss up there with Sarah Clark, Justine Kaiser, Rachel Weaver, Carrie Clark and Haley Ream in the back. With the serve, that's Morris. Justine Kaiser setting it up for Carrie Clark, and what a nice shot. We're back to being tied. Folks, this one's going back and forth and back and forth. Danielle Hartman into the match with the serve for the Cougars. Right in front of her, Rachel Weaver. That's picked up. I believe that was Morris. Harris covering the number, and it's not. It's number 13, Granger, and a beautiful save by Granger. We set it up for Sarah Clark. Murray digs it. Merrill Ellie over to number 13. We set it up far side for Sarah Clark with the touch. Gets the point. Set point for USF. The Clark sisters, they're savvy. Man, got some swag to them down there on the court. Danielle Hartman, 1 point advantage here, set point with the serve, picked up by Murray. Merrill Ellie sets up for freeze. Wow. That one got into the body there of Haley Ream. Not a whole lot the freshman could do on that one. We're back to being tied at 28 apiece. With the serve for SAU, that is number 3, Merrill Ellie. Beautiful placement once again by Sarah Clark. Cougars game point, Sarah Clark with the serve. And we may have had a ball on the court there for a second. Sarah Clark looking to finish this thing for St. Francis. Merrill Ellie to freeze, that's too long. Cougars win set number 2, take the 2-0 lead here in the match. We're in the third set here. Your St. Francis Cougars in the driver's seat. Won the first set, 25-16. Won set number 2, 30-28. We are about 55 minutes into this match. onto the court right now for St. Francis is we've got Carrie Clark, Haley Slusher, Danielle Hartman, Rachel Weaver, Sarah Clark, and Sarah Clark's heading to the sideline now, Lindsay Weiss. And a new member to the court for the first time this match is number 12, Ashley Smith. She's an outside, a 5'9" freshman from Antwerp, Ohio. Went to Antwerp High School. Antwerp. You know anybody from Antwerp, Ben? Me neither. Lindsay Weiss now with the serve for St. Francis here in set number 3. Cougars once again up 2-0. Murray picked that one up. Mero Ellie. Ooh. Back to number 8. It's Ashley Morris. Ashley can throw it down at times for SAU. Looking to be one of the more consistent players for the Yellow Cougars in this match is Ashley Morris along with Murray, the libero. And a big hit coming up by Harry Clark. Point St. Francis. Justine Kaiser into the match. Served by Carrie Clark, picked up by number 2, that is Corwin. Nice save by Rachel Weaver and a big shot by Justine Kaiser, partially blocked. Betsy Granger couldn't get to that one. Point St. Francis, we're up 2-1. I'm thinking the Cougars might just rattle off 23 straight points here. That would be nice. Carrie Clark with the serve. Hit the top of the net and rolls over for point number 3 here in set number 3. SAU's got 1 point. 3-1. We're winning. Carrie Clark jump serve, picked up by number 13, Granger. And that's shot by number 3, Mero Ellie, out of bounds. 3-point advantage for St. Francis. Carrie Clark serve. That was Corwin in the back row. Mero Ellie set it up big time for Ashley Morris. This time she couldn't get it in there. Another point for your Cougars. 5-1. That might be 5 consecutive points if my memory serves me okay. And it does. Uh-oh. Never seen that. Haven't seen that in a while. Carrie, though, very apologetic. Very good manners there by the freshman from Valparaiso. It's okay. Not a whole lot wrong with that. Carrie Clark off the top of the net. Mero Ellie setting it up for Ashley Morris. Blocked at the net. Point SAU. Guess I shouldn't say blocked. Let's say tipped at the net. Boy, and it just rocketed off her fingertips. Lindsay Weiss setting up in the middle for Carrie Clark. Nobody there. Murray with a diving attempt. Point St. Francis. Sarah Clark back in, this time for Haley Slusher. 6-2, Cougars on top. Once again, the new Cougar on the court is number 12, Ashley Smith. Mero Ellie setting it up for Freeze. Freeze falling backward. Rachel Weaver up to Lindsay Weiss. Sarah Clark. Lindsay Weiss once again, this time to Kaiser. And that was number 3 that got a hand on it. I believe she was into the net. I believe that's what number 7 means, is into the net maybe. 7-2, Cougars on top. Rachel Weaver getting it over. Punched forward and just kind of thrown over by Morris. Weiss setting it up this time for Smith. Ashley Smith, she does the same. Freeze into the net. That's a 4 call right there. Point St. Francis, 8-2. Rachel Weaver. Boom. Corwin A little bit of mustard on that one. Kaiser off the arm of Freeze. Justine Kaiser getting it done. 9-2, Cougars on top. And we have a timeout. I believe that one was called by Carol Gates. Can't touch this. You know, this song was popular when I was probably about 11 years old. And in that year, our Little League team won the city championship. Yeah, Midwest Group Services. We beat Thursday's Child. We played our Little League at Georgetown Little League, and Thursday's Child is at Times Corners here in Fort Wayne. So that's how I remember Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. And another new Cougar into this match. This time it is number 6, Morgan Hansen from Fort Wayne Carroll. Of course, teammates with Rachel Weaver, who is now about to serve it up. Rachel also from Fort Wayne Carroll. Corwin over to Merrill Ellie, Freeze. Carrie Clark, Lindsay Weiss over Justine Kaiser, just a bit long. And there was a tip. Yes, it was. Point. St. Francis up 10-2. You know, I think when you look at an SAU coming in with a 1-13 record, St. Francis 4-8, but St. Francis already played some tough competition early in the season, taking on Madonna. Weaver with the serve and the point off of Merrill Ellie's hand. So St. Francis, not to say that they're better than the 4-8 record, but they have played tough competition. So I believe Coach Fabiana Shields, especially playing here at home, is expecting St. Francis to take this in 3 over SAU. Point by number 8 for your Yellow Cougars. She is Ashley Morris. And Ashley Morris, you got to give it up for the senior. She has played an outstanding match for SAU now with the serve. Justine Kaiser, Lindsay Weiss over at Carrie Clark. Morris was there, Merrill Ellie, this time over to number 5, who is Verhey. Big time hit by the newcomer, Morgan Hansen. SAU can't get to that one point. Your Cougars up 12-3. Jessica Aerosmith in for number 12, Morgan Hansen. Serving it up is Aerosmith. Murray over to Merrill Ellie, Freeze. And I believe we have a double hit coming up. Yes, it is. Point, St. Francis. Aerosmith once again with the serve. Whoa. I think Murray was calling for that one to be long. Verhaeg over to Kaiser. Set behind her for Hansen. Morgan Hansen with the big point. 14-3, St. Francis. Jessica Aerosmith with the serve. For Morgan Hansen, this is only our second broadcast for St. Francis. That's her first point. And another point there off the serve from Jessica Aerosmith. St. Francis on a roll here, 15-13. We might end up winning this one 25-3. Excuse me, we're up 15-3. Aerosmith serve. That's number 8. Morris there. Carrie Clark rolling on the floor. Aerosmith. Morgan Hansen was there, as well as Justine Kaiser. Not much happening for the Cougars on that particular attempt. Some confusion there before that serve. Kaiser not confused on that one. Man, she ripped that ball. Freeze sending it over, picked up by Rachel Weaver. Lindsay Weiss with the set over to Kaiser. Keisel picks up the deflection. There's Merrill Ellie sending it over to Weaver. Set to Hansen. Point SAU. That was just a bit long. 15-5 your score. With the serve is Merrill Ellie. Weiss behind her to Hansen. That's point number 2 for Hansen in this match. 16-7. 16-5, excuse me. St. Francis on top. Danielle Hartman into the match. Good serve. Nice placement by number 4, Katie Johnson. Score is 16-6. Morgan Hansen, Carrie Clark, Jessica Aerosmith, Rachel Weaver, Danielle Hartman, and Lindsay Weiss on the court for St. Francis. Free set that ball over. Big hit coming up by Hansen. She says, my bad, as she hits it into the net. SAU gets a point. Freeze once again with the serve. Lindsay Weiss setting it up for Hansen. A little bit behind her. This time Aerosmith setting it up for Carrie Clark. Point, St. Francis. 17-7. Haley Slusher into the match. Rachel Weaver heads to the bench. So in this case, look for Danielle Hartman to play on that back line. As it is, Hansen's back there. Nice dig by Danielle Hartman. Aerosmith. Nice shot by Jessica Aerosmith. 18-7. Cougars on top. Cougars up 2-0. Morgan Hansen just a bit long. St. Francis still with the 10-point cushion. Rachel Weaver back into the match. And it looks like Corwin now, Gabby Corwin, to serve it up for SAU. Danielle Hartman, Weiss sending it over there quickly. Nice save by Jessica Aerosmith, and that was Carrie Clark with the point. St. Francis. 19-8. Back into the match is Ashley Smith. Ashley wears number 12. She's a 5'9" freshman from Antwerp, Ohio. Weiss, Merrill Ellie, setting up for number 4, Katie Johnson. Point, St. Francis. 4 called by the ref. Into the net, I do believe, by SAU. Timeout by SAU's Carol Gates. And it's a tribute here to Jessica Aerosmith, living on the edge by Aerosmith. On the floor for St. Francis, you have number 13, Haley Slusher, number 12, Ashley Smith, Danielle Hartman, Carrie Clark, Lindsay Weiss, and Rachel Weaver. The score is 20-8 here in set number 3. Cougars up 2-0. Weiss with the serve. That was Corwin picking that one up. Merrill Ellie with the serve. And we have a double hit being called on SAU. So SAU now with the double hit blunders here in the third set. Giving away points pretty frequently, actually, in the third set here. Lindsay Weiss, Cougars up 21-8. Murray over to Merrill Ellie. Big hit on number 4, Katie Johnson. Into the match for SAU now is number 13, Betsy Granger. Score is 21-9. And it's Granger with the serve. Picked up by Ashley Smith. A little bit too hard. Haley Slusher kind of got into the body there a little bit. Point, SAU scores 21-10. (22-10) now, St. Francis. Forgive me, folks. I'm going to fix some technical difficulties up here. The score is 22-10 right now. St. Francis on top. So 23-11 now is your score here in set number 3. With the serve, that's Murray, picked up by Rachel Weaver. Lindsay Weiss. Bam from the outside, Ashley Smith. 24-11, Cougars on top. Set point coming up. Rachel Weaver with the score, or with the serve here. That was Corwin. Merrill is going to send it over. Justine Kaiser over to Lindsay Weiss. Bam with the big hit. Morgan Hansen. Cougars win it in 3. Win the third set, 25-11. Going to send Ben Noble down to get some interviews. Folks, stay tuned. We have post-game interviews coming up here shortly. I think we're going to call it a night here. Cougars, though, a beautiful victory over Spring Arbor, win it in 3. Folks, tune in next Friday, men's soccer against Indiana Wesleyan, 7 o'clock start time. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.